Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Toon Review. Feels like an age since I was last behind this microphone. Of course, Billy and Alex did the show on Tuesday, and then we've had a couple of days off because it's this stupid international week and it's just boring. However, as with Newcastle United, everything seems to be going swimmingly, nice and quiet, just like a lovely summer's day in the meadow, and then all of a sudden, thunder and lightning, and it just appears over St. James's Park again. Obviously, we will talk a little bit about Tonali. We're not going to go overboard with it because it's pointless. We don't know the ins and outs until more official stuff comes out. We can discuss it a little bit, but listen, we're not going to go overboard with it. This is a transfer show at the end of the day, a very early transfer show because obviously it's a couple of months until the window opens. However, obviously, Newcastle United do need to strengthen the squad in January. So why not look at the players that are already linked, of course, and see what they could bring to the squad should they decide to come to the Toon in January. But as usual, guys, if you do enjoy tonight's show, hit that thumbs up button. Very important, as I keep saying, that we keep those coming in. And of course, if you're new, please do subscribe. It is free to do so, and also hit the notification bell, which will let you know when we schedule our live shows or we upload any daily news videos and things like that. Also, please keep voting in the awards. It is very important. They are coming to a close within the next 7 to 10 days. So it's vital that we keep the support coming in, keep the votes coming in. If the link isn't in the description right now, it will be after the show. I think I forgot to put it in, so I will put it in after the show. So please do as much as you can for us. We want to try and win. And of course, you can become a member if you hit that join button underneath the 3 of our ugly mugs. We've already got 2 new members. Russell Smith, welcome to Members Club. Thank you for your support. And Stanley Waters as well. Stanley, I believe that might be a renewal, but thank you for your continued support on the channel. Right. Okay, we'll start with Tonali, guys. Good evening to the pair of yous.
Hello.
Billy, we'll start with you because, I mean, we've been talking a little bit before we started the show, obviously, about the news that's broke today. Now, of course, Tonali, he's been questioned by, all it says is authorities. They've returned home returned to their clubs from the Italian camp. What do you make of this news today?
It's a bit concerning, I've got to say. We don't know any of the facts whatsoever.
Yeah.
All we know is that one Juventus player has been banned and these two might be linked to him somehow. They've been removed from the squad for their own because they're not mentally prepared for the games ahead of them. So we're led to believe.
Yeah.
But apart from that, we know little. But it is concerning that one of our players is involved in it, and we know how heavy it's frowned upon by the authorities, whether it be UEFA or the FA or whoever. And if there is anything in it, it could be a bit of a kick in the teeth for us, couldn't it? But until these things happen, until we know more about it. Exactly. Given we know little about it, I think we just kind of let it ride, I guess.
I mean, Alex, there has been a lot of comments saying that, you know, because it's Italy, of course, it's been renowned for this sort of thing in the past. you know, with clubs and things like that, with money problems and Juventus. You know, we all remember what happened to them. Is that, you know, do we look into that, or do we just think, you know, is that an Italian problem? And if so, if Tonali was to be involved, like Billy said, it's going to be a massive kick in the teeth for us, isn't it?
I mean, at the moment, I'm not worried at all. I'm really not. I feel like Juventus have been at this for a long time. It's all Turin based. I think somebody's just mentioned that as well. Yeah, Turin prosecutors. I'm not bothered at the moment. I don't think there's enough in it. I don't think there's enough information. I think it's quite far removed.
Yeah.
Is it possible that it could be a problem? Yeah, of course it is. But I feel like there's so much that's gone on behind the scenes with AC Milan with him, and then with the transfer, and then us, you know, researching that transfer. I don't feel like something like this gets missed. I think the club would already be aware of this or aspects of it. And
really, you think that?
Well, possibly. I feel like all of this would get discussed. You know, there's lawyers involved with this. There's extensive research and negotiations. They would check legal loopholes. I'd be surprised if nobody was aware of this prior to, you know.
Well, Niall puts in the comments, by the way, if it's a case where he did get banned, and this is very, very, very much hypothetical, of course, can we sue Milan, Billy? That because, you know, you mentioned before about Milan, and if they had an inclination of something going on, is that why they've sold the player? There's all sorts of conspiracy theories obviously going on at the minute, which 99% of them you've just got to wave off and, you know, say, yeah, whatever.
It might be why they sold the player for such what we'd think was a cheap price. I mean, you know, less than £60 million for a 23-year-old who's, you know, a European star, definite world star in the making. It's cheap compared to some of the players that have gone this summer. So looking at it through cynical eyes, you might look at it that way.
Harvey Elliott's just scored a good goal for the under-21s as well.
Who?
3-1 now, isn't it?
Harvey Elliott. England under-21s are beating Serbia 3-1.
Good. Guys, as well, if you want to donate to the channel tonight, you can do by hitting the $ at the bottom of the live comments. And of course, that will get your comment read straight out. I Like Coffee says Milan probably scared of getting knocked out of the Champions League, and so they dig up some dirt. Nathan thinks it will be known within the club already. Irish says early stages of the investigation. What does concern me is his mentally during the investigation, and if it reflects badly during his performances on the pitch.
Maybe it already has done.
I don't think he's been sent home. I think the club have gone, oi, you, home now.
Really?
Let's sort this out.
Well,
I wouldn't be surprised.
There's somebody else involved, isn't there? There's two of them.
Zaniolo from Villa.
Zaniolo, yeah, and he's been sent back to Villa as well, because it actually said they have been sent back to their clubs, but you know that could be just the media line.
I mean, with something this serious,
well,
you know, the clubs are the employers, aren't they? At the end of the day, so
yeah. Paul Tully says disclosure would mean the club would have to know. Well, it's difficult because if there was nothing said in the summer about it, you know, if this is just
illegal, they might not disclose it. That's the whole point.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, listen. I mean, I've mentioned Italian clubs and what's happened in Italy in the past, and you know, that's fact. You know, there's stuff going on in Italy, which has resulted in clubs being relegated and things like that. So you never know. But I'm sure, obviously, more is going to come out with this in the coming days and as the investigation goes on. But again, it doesn't put Newcastle United under great light again. And it always seems to be when news breaks, when it's all swimmingly nice, there's always something that crops up to put Newcastle in the mud again.
I can already hear Oliver Holt typing. You can just sense it.
Absolutely.
You can sense it.
Yeah, him and that other bellend, what's his name?
Miguel Delaney.
That's him. God, you can just imagine.
They probably saw him do it.
Mary, good evening to you. D7 just says, let's wait and see. Of course, that's all we can do. Andrew says the investigation is into him losing all his cash at card games in spoons. Yeah. Do Zaniolo and Tonali both share the same agent? That's interesting, Alex. Is there a way we can find that out?
There is. I can have a look now.
Right. He's on it. John Bruce said, could this be the why? Could this be could this be why Tonali has not performed very well since he's been with us? Surely, I mean,
if
Billy
we exclude the couple of good performances and the very good game against Villa, then if we're forgetting all of those existed, then fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Trippier gave him advice. I'm not too worried. It'll be precaution. Niall says maybe that's why he always comes on 60 minutes to cash out. Dear me, that's terrible. Big Dog says, not in the chat a lot, but always watching. So glad you guys went live to cheer me up. I've had some bad news about my health today and have been hiding upstairs from the missus to keep a brave face. Don't hide from the missus, matey. Just whatever it is, just talk about it. Don't bottle anything up, matey. Go and speak to the missus and get it out in the open, whatever it is. Trust me. It's the best way. Alex, have you found that out?
No, they don't share the same agent. They've got different agents.
Big Ass Bloke says, okay, just throwing a bit of conspiracy here. Is that why he agreed to leave his beloved club? Because he wanted to get away from it? Now I'm far out, haha, but still, I hope it's nothing. I love the kid. I mean, look, is that why he wanted to get out of Milan? Because there was a lot of that going on. You just don't know. You just
I feel
don't
like we're
know.
getting into the realms of far too much specation now.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I mean. There's far too many conspiracy theorists out there. This is interesting. The Toon review. If guilty, he should be sacked. I mean, it's very early stages of investigations here.
You don't sack £55 million assets.
No, you don't.
However, unless you're Manchester United, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but yeah. The thing is, what is worrying for me is the fact that they've been sent home, or as Alex said, have the clubs asked for them to be returned home.
Why is that worrying? I think that's probably quite standard.
Because, if there wasn't anything to go on, Alex,
I feel like I feel like we'd be saying the opposite. If they stayed, we'd all be saying, well, are they still there? Is that right? Should they not come home? Should this not be looked at? I feel like we'd just be saying the opposite.
Well, it could be cut both ways, yeah. But this is where you can't win, isn't it? Because there's always going to be somebody saying one thing, and there's always going to be people thinking the other. I mean, Billy, you mentioned before, you were a bit concerned that they've been sent home and things like that because smoke without fire kind of thing. But look, last word on it before we move on to the transfer stuff. I mean, we will keep you updated on it should there be any more stories breaking on it, whether that be recorded or live shows, whatever. But how worried are you about it, Billy?
I guess I'm 50-50, really. We don't know anything about it until we do know stuff about it. You shouldn't get worried, should you, really? So
yeah, because it's just happened here, hasn't it? It's just all of a sudden come out of nowhere.
All we know is that they've been sent home for their own because they're mentally not fit to play football for the national team Saturday and Tuesday.
Well, there is a preliminary criminal investigation, so we have to wait and see. Obviously, let them do the investigating, and let's just. Dude,
Serbia's goal was so good; they absolutely sliced us open. That's amazing.
Well, listen, we've had requests to do watch along for the England games, and
England Australia. I don't know about that.
There's no interest there. England Australia.
When are the games?
Well, England play tomorrow against Australia, and then I think it's Tuesday, isn't it, against Italy? That'll be worth doing.
That'll be worth doing, yeah.
Well, I mean, we do have a few Aussie loyal viewers that are always here and waking up early.
Alex, if you want to do the England Australia watch,
face the lads.
Welcome to it.
We didn't face the lads. I ain't face the Cobbers.
Well, face the lads is on tomorrow night, yeah, which I think will get more. Will actually get more views than England will on telly.
Face the Cobbers.
Yeah. Look, it's Australia. I mean, no disrespect.
I mean, Tom's just raised an interesting point. Kieran Trippier against Gareth Qual.
Well, no one thinks. I mean, is Trippier going to start? Well, he probably will actually if it's a friendly. But Alex, listen, if you want to do it, matey, you're welcome to it. But it's not something that tickles my testicles, to be honest. I must say, probably Italy, England will. Very much so. That will.
Yes,
that is a competitive game, so we'll probably do the watch along for that. But you have a think, Alex, if you want to do the watch along. No disrespect to Australia. It's just it's England more than Australia because it's a friendly and England in a friendly, and Southgate will just annoy the living shit out of us.
Kowal's not in the squad, apparently.
He's not.
People saying he has and hasn't. Can we get some?
I don't think he has.
History?
I don't think he has, to be honest.
No idea.
A Cowgate Primary Aussie Steve says it's live on free to air here in Australia. Yeah, look, I think the game will mean more to Australia than it does for England fans, to be honest. I'm not being disrespectful there. I'm just saying.
Definitely doesn't to me.
No,
I love every England match. And I love
yes,
the
I know
England
you
team,
do.
I just hate Gareth Southgate.
Exactly, but Southgate has ruined England by the fact that the squad he's picked. There's no excitement. He's got a friendly here, and he has the opportunity to bring some players into the squad, some younger players or some really who are on form players. And once again, he hasn't. It's the usual crap that will go out on the pitch for England in a friendly. Kieran Trippier, excused from that, and a couple of others. But we know who they are, and we know who they are that will be playing. And it's just so pigging annoying. I can't believe Susan's just put that in the chat. I'll tickle them instead. That is terrible. What is wrong with you, woman? I'm going red. We will probably do the Italian one, but Alex may do it if he wants to do it, but we'll chat with that after the show if he feels confident doing the show on his own. Can you? I mean,
we can just have it in the background while we're doing Face the Lads, surely.
Well, yeah, we'll have Face the Lads, and then, I don't know what time kickoff is tomorrow.
Maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah. Tom says Australia doesn't mean anything football-wise. Football fans generally are different to the rugger toffs.
Mate, that is a baiting question. Good luck with the repercussions.
Well, no, I think, is rugby bigger than football in Australia? Absolutely, it is.
And
Aussie rules football is bigger than football as well.
Yeah, but
rugby league is bigger.
Rugby league's bigger than all of it.
It's still well followed.
Cricket is bigger. Cricket is massive in Australia. So there's much bigger sports in Australia than football. So, Sheep shearing, yep, absolutely. Snooker, carpet balls, I believe, is a lot bigger than football in Australia. Yeah,
very good at that. Underwater.
Can you believe that golf? They actually play ice hockey in Australia? They've got a few rinks. What's this? Pedro. Hi, Paul. It's Peter's daughter, and I'm sick of my dad pinching the 75-inch TV, and it's all your fault. I enjoy your show and all, but you owe me a new TV.
We're talking about TVs before we come on air, weren't we?
Yes, indeed.
Good segue there, Billy.
I am not discussing that live on air. Absolutely not. Alex came out with a quote that has stunned me for the rest of my life, to be quite honest. Anyway, let's move on. We'll move to transfers, Alex, and take it away with the first one.
Adam Wharton. Somebody we've looked at.
Hang on a minute. Billy, did you get the feeling you were watching X Factor there? Just the way you went,
Adam Wharton. Next on the show.
Rachel Adedeji. Anyway, go on.
So, I'm pretty sure we've done him before on a transfer show.
We definitely have, yeah.
Because I found notes for him. So,
well,
I think
Alex, you have notes on every football player
I do.
in the EFL.
I've got like 800. I've got so many notes. You wouldn't even believe it. So I've got notes on him before, and it's really interesting to see the improvements. We've been linked in previous windows. I like his development. Really, really interesting young player. Unfortunately, there's not too much to go on FBref, and there's no photo. The data that I'm going to show you is obviously against the next top 8 leagues, which involves things like the MLS, Mexico, Championship, and those kinds of leagues. So the data is comparing peers from those leagues. So it's not going to be against the top leagues, but there's some good leagues in there. You've got like the Portuguese League and the Belgian Pro League. So there's some reasonably strong leagues in there. So Blackburn Rovers, left-footed young midfielder, plays very, very maturely for his age, may I add, as a 19-year-old. I haven't seen him play live yet, although now we've done him for a second time on a transfer show. I am interested to go and watch a couple of Blackburn Rovers games when I get a chance. I'm very busy, but I'd love to try and watch him live. So if we scroll down, we'll have a look at some of the data so you can see what he's about. So this is nearly 1,600 minutes worth of data. So again, he's 19. And he's only really been 19 for 3 months. So there's a lot of this data that will be from when he was still 18 as well. I feel like very mature statistics for somebody of his age who plays in the midfield of a championship side. Very, very good defensive numbers here. Good tackle volume. Interceptions is always a reasonably good sign of somebody who's quite intelligent and can read the game well, especially at this age. The blocks are good, puts his body on the line. He's in the right place at the right time. I like the take-on success rate. It's quite good as well for somebody quite young. He plays a bit of a defensive role, but is quite creative going forward as well. Progressive passes, really, really tidy. The passes attempted and pass completion is okay. It's well above average. Again, shot creating actions are pretty high at 2.88 per 90. Again, the assists, he's getting an assist every 10th game as a sort of more of a deep lying player. I think he deserves more than that. What's his XA on here? Have we got that? Expected assist? I think it'll be further up. And non-penalty XG as well is really, really high at the same. So who's he linked to as well? Nobody we really care about. Not at the moment anyway. So let's have a look at his sofa score. There he is. Here he is with his long neck. So 182 centimeters. We've got midfield, DM. He plays multiple roles, so I'll show you the shape.
I think his nickname's definitely Swan.
Yeah, I mean he's definitely got that vibe about him. So played on the 4th. I don't know if you watched this game, Billy, but against Coventry, put in a 7.5 performance despite being on the losing end of the team. We'll have a look at the lineup, and we saw them line up in a 4-1-4-1 with him being that sort of central midfielder in between the two lines of 4. And he did get subbed off as well. Let's go and have a look at the data for the game. So he was everywhere. Slightly dominant in the left side. It looks like he was responsible for corners, possibly some set pieces, judging by the heat maps here, or assisting with build-up in offensive phases. Contributed defensively in the box. And if we scroll down, those are some numbers for a 19-year-old DM against Coventry, not a bad side at all in the playoffs last year. 5 key passes is enormous. 3 accurate crosses and a long ball. And his passes were clean and crisp with a 95% accuracy. Reasonable physical output for his age on paper. I mean, this game alone had me intrigued when I was just doing some research for today. I was really, really impressed with this. And then if we scroll down, we can have a look at his performance against Leicester, who were obviously recently relegated. So they're going to be a reasonably one of the strongest teams in the Championship, you would imagine. It was a 4-1 loss. He still managed to come away with a respectable 7 on SofaScore, despite getting a yellow card. And obviously yellow cards on this platform normally dock your rating somewhat. So I'm quite impressed with that. Left side of a 4-2-3-1, slightly different shape. I don't know how it actually played on in real life, whether it was this much. But again, the heat map is absurd. The kid's everywhere. He's absolutely everywhere. 83% possession in a game they lost, passing accuracy, in a game they lost 4-1. 3 accurate long balls. Putting himself about physically, 5 out of 9 ground duels. Again, this is a 19-year-old. I'm really impressed with the physical data here. 3 tackles as well. Put himself about. We'll look at just those 2 games. But I've watched a few highlight clips as well, which I know it's YouTube and you can't take everything from YouTube. But he puts people through on goal quite a lot. He's very, very technically good with his feet. We'll have a look at the game with an assist. Look at that. That's his 7.9. We'll have a look at his best game on the sheet, shall we? So where did he play in this one? Left side of a 4-2-3-1 again with a 7.9. Again, similar story with his heat map. He is the guy that is just absolutely everywhere, energetic. And what have we got here? 2 key passes, 4 accurate long balls, very tidy passes. Again, he got the assist in the game. Very, very impressive output physically, again, for somebody who's 19 years old. Adam Wharton. There's videos on YouTube.
What would the fee be, Alex? What
he's rated at 3.5 million. I mean, there's videos
15.
linking. There's like welcome to Manchester United videos on YouTube. There are other clubs that have been linked with him. People think he's a little bit raw, but he's the one that can just sort of. He's got reasonably good feet as well. He's not small. He's quite big, and he's got reasonably good technical feet. He can sort of dart past a couple of players. And he one thing I've noticed in the clips so far that I've watched is he loves he doesn't really look where he's passing it. He loves a little no look pass. He's very comfortable, very technically good. Again, it might just be the level he's playing at as well. But for his age, I think he's great. I think he's really, really interesting. I think we will see him take a step up, whether that's to us or another team. I think he's a really exciting player. And if anybody in the chat just loves football in general, I'm going to go and watch Blackburn because I'm really interested to see this kid play. So I would recommend it as well.
Well, John Donald Thompson's the manager, isn't he? And he's got a... Blackburn last season were very up and down. They lost a lot of games, but they finished quite high up. And they're doing it again this season. You know, the very Blackburn are a team that you just. I mean, I know this is going to sound wrong given the way we started the show, but Blackburn are one of those teams that you don't bet on. You know what I mean? Because you just never know which Blackburn's going to turn up. Foxy says that Wharton style reminds him of a young Cambiasso. Christ, if he's anywhere near as good as Cambiasso, then we're going to go for him. I mean, you're talking the big clubs after him as well, Alex, aren't you? So we're up there again. But will he look at will he look at Lewis Hall? Will he look at Livramento going in and think, well, they're not getting first team football, so why would I go there?
I mean,
the potential would be there.
Building for the future.
I think the potential, if we were to buy him in January, to be loaning him back probably, wouldn't they, until the end of the season and then start from scratch in the summer.
Possibly.
I think it's about building for the future, personally. I think it'd be a good buy for that kind of price for the future.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. He looks an absolute baller. He really does. And the fact that he's a set piece taker as well, which...
Well, he's left-footed, which is something we're severely lacking in this team.
Yeah, we are.
I mean, you said he might not. Would he get a move? Or would he move if he's not going to be playing? I mean, Lewis Hall and Livramento have just taken moves, and they know they're not going to be starting. So,
well, I don't know about Lewis Hall. I think Lewis Hall might have come in with the thought that maybe he would get more.
I don't know. I disagree. I think they would have been upfront with the game time they expect to offer him this season. Because I think Lewis Hall would have asked, right, Matt Targett's here, Dan Burns here. What's the plan for me going forward this season? I'm on loan. Again, these kids have got agents. That will have been discussed. So that they wouldn't have accepted it unless Lewis Hall was absolutely happy with the answer he was given, in my opinion, anyway.
I mean, Simon makes a good point. At 19, he won't take up a squad number. I mean, look, you're talking Livramento, you're talking Lewis Hall. If we got Wharton in, and then you've got Lewis Miley coming through, we've got some really good youngsters in this team as well as experience.
He's also capped 6 times for England under 19s. He's been part of an international setup.
Yeah,
he's got very, very, very high potential. It does follow suit with what we're doing with sort of the young buys.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I would love him. He looks a very, very. I haven't actually seen him, but from the stats,
I think you'd like him. He's a little bit more,
but
traditional.
SofaScore, we do when they give their ratings. We know they're very harsh on the ratings, and the one that got me there was the fact that he had a yellow card and still got a 7 from SofaScore, which means
in a 4-1 defeat as well.
If we're probably doing player ratings there, we're probably giving them a 9. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's the difference. So he obviously stands out. And for Thomason to put such faith in a young player like that, though, guys, 19-year-old, and he's taking the set pieces. He covers, as you can see there by his heat map, so much of the pitch. For such a young age, he's got a lot of responsibility, Billy.
And plus, Blackburn aren't exactly pulling the trees up this year. They're very much feast or famine, more famine than feast this year. They're lower mid-table, aren't they? I think they're 17th at the minute. Coming off the back of a good win at QPR, but everyone wins at QPR these days, apparently. I've not seen him at all. I've got to be honest. I tend not to watch Blackburn. I don't know why. I just don't. I've never been a fan of Blackburn for years and years and years. But Thomason's coming in with his style of football. I would think he'd probably be under pressure this year to get promoted, and I don't know if it's going to end up. Let's see the year out. If I'm honest, there were Saki managers with better.
Let's remember as well, though, that the EFL, certainly the Championship, is a very, very difficult league. Season in, season out, it is a challenge. And for a young player of 19 years old to be excelling at a club that, like Billy says, It's feast or famine, mostly famine this season. For him to stand out like that, I mean, Christ, they lost 3-1 at home to the Mackhams, didn't they? You know,
I mean, this is one that I would see. Again, it completely depends on. Oh, Livramento's just come on for England under 21s. Very nice.
There you go.
Subbed Cole Palmer's off. Yeah, what was I saying? I was saying something about money. Yeah, so obviously it depends on our other targets. However, if we decide this boy's on the top of a list to do with sort of youth buys and pickups, I don't see why we wouldn't. Again, like we did with Minte and Qual, go in with between 5 and 10, 5, 6, 7 plus add-ons and promises, whatever. See if we can get Blackburn to accept that and say we'll give him back to you for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Again, it depends if we find other options and we want to go down other avenues. It depends on how much money we've got available to spend on outgoings and players like Kraft and Mankia, what we're going to do with those. But this could be a little, one of those that we just get in and doesn't get much coverage, but could be really good for us long term.
Of course, Simon mentions this. Browett and Diaz left in the summer, and it's left them struggling a little bit for goals.
Yeah.
Madueke made it 4.
Well, there you go. He's a good player, Madueke. Niles says, really should we be looking for ones that can really challenge first team? And as much as he could be future Miley, he can't even get a kick. Look, I think Miley's still going to play a lot of games.
17-year-old.
Yeah, but
he can't get a kick. What are you talking about?
He will get a kick, though.
He will get a kick, but
he'll definitely get a kick this season. Look, he started the Man City game in the cup, didn't he? So he is in Eddie Howe's plans. But as Alex did state before we did the commentary on that game, we don't want to push him, and we do. That's why I think sometimes managers are very apprehensive about putting youngsters into the team, because the fan base, we know, especially Newcastle United, we know that there's a lot of fans out there who are, let's say, made of a certain substance, who will just jump on the backs immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, yeah, without a doubt.
Adam C says, Paul, have you seen the YouTuber called Prime Mutton? He's a Man City fan, and I think yous look very alike, a bit like Alex and his fellow YouTube twin. I haven't seen him, no. I will take a look, though. I'm sure Susan's looking right now to see what he looks like. Look, I've been told I look like, who was it, the King of Morocco or somebody?
Tom Davis.
Who?
Tom Davis.
Oh, the comedian.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, actually, Susan's mum said I looked like him, but I've lost some weight since then, so I'm not as round, to be quite honest. The Ruffian Burnican says, if we get to the Champions League knockout stages, we can add 3 more players to the Champions League squad, even if they have played in the Champions League group stages. That may impact who we go for. Yeah, it works different in the Champions League, doesn't it? If we make the knockout stages,
absolutely won't. We won't buy people based on who can be in the squad.
But it
for like a few months.
But it does differ from obviously the cup competitions over here. If you played in the cup,
I mean, those rules are completely correct. We're not going to make transfers. I mean, it completely does. We're not going to make transfers based on those rules. Absolutely not. If you go and look, the last time we made a signing of that nature was Chris Wood. When we will not make a signing based on.
Let's move on. I didn't want to hear his name on this channel again. Janos' championship just got easier. Blues will drop like a stone now the Teletubby is in charge. Yes,
amazing,
Mr. Rooney.
Amazing that is to sack a bloke who's got him to 6th in the table. It's just about.
Oh, Birmingham 2nd?
6th.
6th, sorry.
That hasn't been 6 for years.
And they've sacked
John Eustace and brought Wayne Rooney in. Yeah.
Jesus, honestly, I know they've brought Rooney in. I didn't realise where they were in the league, to be honest. I don't really follow Birmingham City. Irish Toon says Paqueta is toxic for potential clubs with a potential ban for betting incoming. Simon says, anybody heard how much the Adidas deal is worth? I've heard a few other podcasts say it could be worth 40 million a year over 5 years, 200 million. Is that possible? It depends which podcast you heard it from. There is some genuinely good ones out there. There is also some that like to invent barbecues and things like that, or hair grow products, etc. Anyway, I like coffee says one mistake can shatter a young player's confidence. which is exactly what Alex said before the Manchester City game, especially with our fan base. Spain 0, Scotland 1, by the way, guys.
McTominay again. Recently.
McTominay is banging in the... Get him signed. What were we talking about saying we didn't want McTominay? He's banging him in.
I mean, he was just playing in the wrong position. He's an 8. He's got similar output to like Longstaff. It's not... He was being deployed in a double pivot and being found out because it's not his position. Funny that.
Susan says I'm definitely not a lookalike. So there you go. I'm pleased about that. Ian Flem makes a good point saying Ferguson put youngsters in, Paul, and they've done okay. I think he did that to piss Alan Hansen off, to be honest.
Wow.
When Hansen turned around and said, what was his quote? You can't win nothing with kids. I mean, I know he had a lot deeper accent than that. I've seen that clone lad. Tonali getting abused by the fans. Miley would probably get destroyed by them.
Go like you.
It looks nothing like me, does it, Billy? Yeah, that really does not look like me. I mean, look at the size of his face. I mean, it's like a circle. You know, my cheekbones are starting to show now that I've lost some weight. So, he looks like a fat Merv Hughes who used to play cricket for Australia. Remember him, Billy?
To me, he looks like he sells ice cream.
Yes.
Italian ice cream, man.
Yes, definitely. I'll go with that. He's probably a very nice bloke, by the way. So it's just a bit of banter. Yeah, Tonali getting abused online already. I mean, it's typical Billy, isn't it? Some of these plastic fans.
Yeah, I mean, there's been people waiting to jump on him, but I mean, from quite a while ago, to be honest.
Yeah.
No one's got the patience to let him get along with his settling in period and getting used to the squad and the fitness and stuff. He's a quality player, no doubt about it. But people are kind of, he's not, scoring straight away. Well, he did score straight away, but after that, he's doing little in their eyes. I don't know. I just think it's people that have signed up to things that we're not at yet. Like the glory hunters do.
By the way, the Scotland goal's been ruled out, so it's still goalless. They only need a point to qualify, though. Already, they've done exceptionally well in this tournament.
Good for them.
David says, "Is it true Gallant wants to be Tonali's agent?" You'll have to ask him. I don't know. Right, who's next on the list, Alex?
We have.
Everybody's been asking for this one. Emil Smith Rowe.
I'm on the fence about this one, guys. I'm slightly on the fence.
I think he's brilliant. And
Emily Smith
very badly treated by Mr. Arteta. Sorry, Billy?
Or Emily Smith Rowe.
Yes. I like him.
So I obviously watched all of his minutes in the under-21s. Didn't like any performances. There were elements of his game. You can see he's technically good. You can see he's come through the Arsenal Academy. You can see there's technical ability there. But I hated his positioning, his movement. I hated his decision making.
Yeah.
I hated everything I saw when he was in an England shirt. Hated it so much. However, I'm fully aware and I know I need to take a step back and understand that there is a much better player in there. We've seen a lot better from obviously him in an Arsenal shirt in previous seasons. It's a difficult one. Again, 23 years old, reasonable wages. At the end of, I'm obviously assuming if we're going to go for somebody, it'll be in the summer. It'll be a loan to buy in January, or I don't know. So it'll be 3 years left on his contract. When's next summer? 2024. Oh God, time's going very fast. 2024 next summer. So he'll have 2 years remaining on his contract. He'll be fine. He'll be 23 and a half years old. Good age, good technical ability, not too small. Played in an energetic tactical system. He's been training under Arteta and all of these great players. I think he would be fine. Again, it's somebody who can play a little bit more centrally. He's played wide left. He's played as a 10. He's played in sort of a midfield 3. He's fairly tailor-made as a jigsaw piece to slot into our team.
I just think Arteta's ruined him, as Joe Linton said there. I think Arteta's ruined him. I genuinely do.
I do think he's a good
he-
player. I'm not entirely convinced. So this is hang on, we need the scouting report from.
But are you not convinced
this
that,
year.
Alex, that somebody like Eddie Howe could get the best out of Emil Smith Rowe?
Yes, which is why I'm completely open to it.
Mhm.
I'm just really concerned about his performances in the Euros for the under-21s. I just didn't like it at all. There was so much I just didn't like. However, we'll have a look at the data because that's what we do. Pass completion rate good. His progressive carries / passes, so his ball progression's always been average, if not above average. Again, he was given the number 10 shirt for Arsenal. That doesn't happen unless you're a good player and you've got good potential. And then his non-penalty XG for the season, his non-penalty goals he was a goal every other game, which is rather good. And versus midfielders, obviously this goes through the roof. But he was playing a sort of a more further forward midfielder, if I can get that sentence out, and often likes to take up sort of wide areas, more so on the left hand side. He can cut in. Not too bad. And that was obviously the most recent season that we've got data for him. We can go back to the 2020/21 season. Obviously a little bit better with ball progression, and a little bit better in pass completion rate. Good with some assists. Again, the data's not terrible. We could do with some more defensive output. I'm sure he can offer that. He's got energy. And again, in this season, he was... So remember, this was a few years ago now. So this is the 2020, the start of the middle of 2020, this season started. So you've got to remember these players on this list in their form during that year. So obviously, William was still a little bit younger, was an impressive sort of ball carrier. Mata at the time was a very technical, decent ball carrier, albeit he'd lost his pace. Udegaard, of course, we know was very good. Sigurdsson was a great player. Trossard, Hudson-Odoi at that point was, the world was his oyster. So at that point, this is very flattering for him, extremely flattering for him. In terms of recent minutes for Emil Smith Rowe, so this is his SOFA score. Here he is. It's obviously quite expensive as well, but it is what it is. So he came on as a late substitute in the 2-1 loss to Racing Club de Lens in the Champions League. He's made a few substitute appearances. I don't think he started. Did he start this game? Or did he come on as a sub? 4-1 against Bournemouth. He came on as a sub. Yeah, I don't think he's been starting any games. PSV.
For the Carabao Cup game, he might have started that.
Wherever that is. Arsenal-Brentford. He did start that on the right side of a midfield 3 next to Jorginho. He dropped to 7. Part of short corner duty, potentially, that looks like.
What's that bloke in front of him? Charles Sago Jr.?
It is.
What a pudding he is.
I've never heard of Charles Sago Senior, never mind Junior.
Well, 95% passing accuracy in this game. But again, I'm not quite sure what squad. I mean, it looks like Brentford put out a fairly strong squad for a cup game, to be fair, with Hickey, Jan Elton, Norgard. They put in Bueno and Visser up front, Pinnakin with Nathan. Yeah, they put out a nearly full strength side.
Yeah.
And obviously, the Arsenal squad is very heavily rotated. But, it looks like he's done all right in here. Very impressive heat map. Very careful with his passing. His physicality was okay, but you've got to remember that Brentford midfielder, quite beefy. They're quite hard to get the ball off, so I'm not surprised. Yeah.
What's his injury record, Alex?
Good.
A lot of people are asking you to look at that.
That's a fair point. Let's have a look. Emil Smith. Is it hyphenated? Rowe? Is that how we're doing it?
I think so.
No, it's not. Oh, well, I found it anyway. 16 caps with England under 21s with 5 goals. We've got injury history. So we had groin surgery. I forgot about this actually. Groin surgery. So from September to November, 63 days, 14 games missed. And then a couple of seasons prior, he had shoulder injury, 46 days, 15 matches. And then it's been odds and sods really. I didn't know he'd gone. Is that Leipzig or Salzburg? He's been to Red Bull. I forgot about that. Is that a thing? Hang on a minute. Where are all of his clubs? Hang on, we've got to go to his main. Hang on a minute.
Alex, if you say hang on a minute one more time, I'm going to be hanging on by the skin of my teeth.
Where is he? There he is. Oh, that's his shooting. We want just general statistics. There he is. Standard stats.
Oh,
Oh, he did. He was at Leipzig for a season. Oh, I didn't realise that. I never knew that.
He played what, 3 games?
And then a few games for Huddersfield as well, which I also didn't realise. But yeah, I mean, he's not a bad player. I don't know. It's just one of those where I'm.
A lot of people are saying in the chat though it's another left-sided player, Billy, as well, and you know why are we being linked with so many left-sided? Isn't the right side that needs sort of addressing as well?
No, I think Smith Rowe is quite flexible actually. I was like Alex though, the under-21 summer tournament. I thought it was piss poor. I really do. Positioning, discipline was poor. Wasn't tracking back. You know, attitude seemed a bit. I haven't started, so we're kind of attitude. I think he's a great player, but I just don't think. No, it's not. Not for me. Not for the price I'd want for him, anyway.
I've got an interesting point that Billy's going to hate, but I think he might agree with me. I think Conor Gallagher's twice the player.
Oh no, I'm not having it. No,
I think Smith Rowe's a better technical player, but I think Conor Gallagher probably offers more to a team.
No, hang your head in shame, Alex. That's 2 comments I'm disgusted.
I tell you what, this
on camera, one off.
I'll tell you what this transfer potentially reminds me of, by the way, Paul. I don't know if anybody did this when they were younger, but when I was younger, when we were trying to pick out a DVD to watch, out of any adventure movies or things like that when I was young, and we'd always do a pile. We'd do right today. So this is the no pile, this is the maybe pile, and this is the this is probably a winner pile. So we put the DVDs into 3 little piles. I'm afraid Emil Smith Rowe is not going in my yes pile. He'll go in the maybe pile, but I can't put him in the yes pile. I'm just there's nothing wrong with the transfer. I just feel like there's better ones.
I think he cost too much. I think they'd want too much for him. For what he is, if I'm honest.
Listen, I agree. I think, but I'm sorry. I will sit on this hill by myself and say that Smith Rowe has been ruined by Arteta. Right? Arteta has just ruined him. So I think
he's not good enough to get in the side anymore.
He is.
He isn't, is he? Who did you replace then? You ain't going to take Saka out for him. You ain't going to take Martinelli out for him. Erdegaard? No, I don't think so.
I think this would hinder the development of Elliot Anderson as well, who I think is equally as technically gifted.
I don't think Martinelli's all that. When I've seen him play, I just don't think I think they go on about him like he's some sort of revelation. And let's face it, he's not.
Did you watch him against Man City on Sunday when he come on the sub?
He did a few things.
Changed the game.
Well, he scored off a deflection, didn't he? I mean,
you've had him there. He's still 22, to be fair. His data's really good.
Look, we all have opinions on players, right? And I just think that Smith Rowe would thrive under Eddie Howe. But the problem is, where do you fit him into the Newcastle system? That is the big
talk
question.
About Martinelli,
Alex. You tell me you haven't gone to his stats just to go at me. Shite off.
The guy that got 15 goals, 5 assists last year, isn't all that?
He's not.
20 goal contributions as a 22-year-old winger.
Yeah, fabulous. Let's move on. Foxy says Smith Rowe is at that stage where he needs to play regular games right now. He seems to always pick up groin injuries. A loan would do him good in January. Yeah, but he's had that addressed, Foxy, by
game time with
he's
us.
had that operation. But as I said before Alex rudely tried to shoot me down again, where does he fit in the Newcastle system? Because I can't see him fitting in with how we play.
No, I don't. I'll be honest. I don't think he's got the discipline to play our system.
If we played 4-2-3-1, maybe, but we don't.
But watching him in the N21s in the summer, there was no discipline there whatsoever. Just wasn't interested in where he's meant to be playing. I mean, how many times did we see him give the ball away and then not track back, Alex? We saw it 6-7 times. Saw it in the final 3 or 4 times.
I think it was because it was so blatantly obvious to us because we just spent, we'd obviously been so used to our Champions League finishing season, and we've been watching Newcastle week in, week out, and we were so used to a certain style of play that when we went and watched the under-21s, it was just so jarring to watch teams not press and to watch the team that we were rooting for not press, and to watch Emil Smith Rowe was challenging at times. Jacob Ramsey, who was the other one? Was it Angel Gomez? There were a few players in there that were very energetic, put in good shifts that we were very appreciative of. But Emil Smith Rowe was one of the ones where we were just kind of watching, going, "Why are you jogging there? You could be getting back into shape. There are things you could be doing right now." And he just looked a bit lazy.
Yeah,
it's always tough.
Anyway, guys, we're currently standing on 219 likes for this show. We've got over 700 watching. Come on, guys. We need more. So just do me all a favor, please. Just in this next 10, 20 seconds, just hit that thumbs up button for us, will you? It's so important to this channel that we continue to get the likes so that people like yourselves can find us on the search results. So please literally smash the thumbs up button. Let's see that. Wow, it's gone up to 248 already. Thank you. That's better. Keep hitting the likes, guys. Right, we've got one more player.
Makes an excellent suggestion there. Neto from Wolves would be a fantastic signing for us.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, really good player.
On that
really like
side.
him.
Ooh.
We have a super chat from DJ. Thanks, mate. $4.99, and it's just vanished off my screen. 2 seconds. He says recruitment has been spot on so far, so I back Eddie and Ashworth in January. I hope we mix experience with youth, though, as it seems to be the winning recipe. Can't disagree with that. Can't disagree. Right, who is our final player of the evening, Alex? And it's another name I can pronounce. Antonio Silva. There you go.
I mean, it depends if you pronounce his full name or
not. Here we go. Oh, God almighty. It's Antonio João Pereira Albuquerque Tavares Silva. Or Tavares, however you want to.
So
you didn't think I'd be getting Albuquerque there, did you? Who names a kid Albuquerque?
Hot dogs, jumping frogs.
So, we've done him before. I think because we didn't get a centre half, I pretty much said I think this kid's going to go somewhere like Man City. I think this kid is outrageously good, ridiculously good. We looked at him freaking ages ago. We've come back and he's still 19 years old. He is literally a baby, and he is playing some outrageous football. And the fact that I pretty much ruled out us maybe going for a transfer of this magnitude as a centre half because of obviously who we'd signed in the summer. I thought we were maybe going to get an Anderson or a loan over the line. We never did. So I feel like this frees up the potential for maybe next summer. I'm not sure this would be a January thing. Depends what happens to the squad, obviously. Yeah, I completely agree with Foxy there. And Andrew Gomez, 100%. But next summer, I feel like, look, we normally have a big signing, don't we? Right? We had Tonali, we had Isak before. We have a big signing. I feel like we are gearing up for a big centre-half signing next summer. I just feel like it. Again, it depends on what happens with Lascelles. If we decide Lascelles is going to go, I feel like we get a very big centre-half signing. And I just have an inkling that it could be this guy. It might be someone else, but I just feel like it... I don't know. I feel like Anderson makes sense from Crystal Palace, but I can't shake the feeling that maybe we would go after a centre-half as a big signing. It just kind of fits for the squad. We've done a striker, we've done a midfielder. Central defence needs a bit of love. Fabian Schär's in his 30s. Lascelles, contract expiring. We need some more. So anyway, we'll actually talk about the player instead of me just rambling. Sorry. 6'1.5". Plays in the Portuguese league, Benfica. 600 minutes so far this season with some Champions League minutes. He got sent off. I'll show you that. It's fine. Don't worry. He's very young. We'll gloss over that bit.
After 12 minutes, we'll look at it.
Well, yeah, he only got a 3 rating. It was really bad. But we'll have a look. Anyway, we'll look at the data. 91.7% passing accuracy. Again, he is a baby and his passing accuracy is absurd. It's absolutely absurd. 61 passes a game and he's completing pretty much all of them. He's a freak. His tackle volume is through the roof. He's just an absurd robot child. Look at his ball progression. It's ridiculous. 3.69 progressive passes per 90. Not only can he pass well, dangerous passes that progress the ball, and still have that accuracy is absurd. Honestly, if anybody gets the chance to watch Benfica, please Please do. And yeah, Foxy's just said he has a massive release clause. Yeah, I'm aware, but we have lots of money. You never know. So really impressive output.
It's over
XG
100
as
million,
well.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot. It's reportedly quite a lot.
Oh yeah, I've just seen Foxy's comment.
I think it was considerably less than the last time we looked. I think they've potentially changed it, or he's had a new contract. I think he did have a new contract because I think we looked at the tackles.
93 percentile. Oh, wow, he's nearly 20. This kid. I mean,
just
Jesus,
remember though, this is data from the Portuguese division, so this isn't him being compared. Although it is mixed in with his Champions League minutes, I think. However, it is the men's next 14 competitions. So this is against you've got your Brazilian leagues, you've got Belgian leagues and things like that. So take the percentiles with a pinch of salt. Look at the actual numbers, but they're still very, very, very impressive. If we scroll down and have a little look at his career to date, again, we got 30 starts last year, which we've obviously looked at. So again, for an 18-year-old to start in the heart of defence, I mean, this just screams Botman to me. There's parallels to Botman here. A young lad won the division, in the heart of central defence. 30 starts, 3 goals. And he's carried it on this season as well. So let's go and have a look.
In the chat are saying he could be the new, he could be our new Fabian Schär.
Well, I mean,
he actually looks like him.
He does a little bit, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So we'll have a look at the contract because we'll have a look at him on transfer marks as well. But he's already rated at 48 million, which is just ridiculous. So positioning and long balls apparently are his strengths. Yes, there's his red card. He did.
12 minutes, and he's still got a 3. He's still got a 3.
He did an oopsie.
But he's still got a 3 for 12 minutes and sent off, and he gets a 3.
Yeah, he did.
Who was that against?
That was in the Champions League. That was against Salzburg. And they lost 2-0, which is, again, he's young. 13 minutes. He got a tackle and a clearance, and he won both duels. But then I've not even seen the foul. I don't know what he did. Obviously, quite bad.
He got a 3. I mean, if that was us player rating, he'd get a 0.
But we'll gloss over that. He has been playing for Portugal as well. Look, that's interesting. He's benched against Luxembourg's 9-0 victory over them, but he played against Slovakia, which is, again, playing for his country, very impressive. So his most recent performance, which was 4 or 5 days ago, against Estoril, which again I've not heard of. Even so, you've got to factor his age into this. Playing a 4-2-3-1. Again, look at all the fires he probably has to put out with Otamendi, who I'm pretty sure I can move faster than at this point. So heat map, very right-sided. Again, offensive set pieces, defensive set pieces. Crazy heat map here. He got a goal with 0.82 XG from this, 4 clearances, 2 blocks, 1 tackle. Very impressive physicals. Again, 3 out of 3 aerial duels. Passing accuracy is pretty much bang on what his averages are anyway, 93%, with a key pass, couple of decent long balls, 2 shots on target, completed dribble. I mean, it does remind me a little bit of Fabian Schär, a little dribble into midfield, cheeky little goal, very good passing, do long passes here and there.
Yellow card.
And an 8.5 with a yellow
apparently
card.
The sending off, Alex, was for a goal line clearance. He missed the header and it hit his hand.
I mean, that's forgivable, I guess. It happens. He's young. At least he didn't just completely clatter somebody and be silly.
Well, I don't know whether it was deliberate handball or whether he just missed the header and it hit his hand. And of course, rules are that he's got to go.
Yeah, I'll have to have a look at that. 5 caps Portugal, which is ridiculous for his age. That's absurd. Contract 2027. It doesn't make reference to his release clause on here. Oh, yes, it does. There it is. It's a big release clause.
100.
That's a lot. So, yeah, again, you can see why I've said this guy's got sort of Man City written all over him. Lots of appearances for the Portuguese international team at all levels. Market value has just gone literally through the roof. Very, very fat contract. But, he's one of these players that... He's just one of these players.
Kenzie, that's a shocking joke. If Fabian Schär could turn back time, he would be Silva. Wow.
Oh, dear.
Wow. Yeah, right. That is it for tonight for the transfer show. We will be back tomorrow, back at our normal time of 7 p.m. With Face the Lads. The link to come on the show will be in the right pinned at the top of the live chat, around about 10 minutes before the show starts. Get yourselves on, have a chat about Newcastle United. You know, that obviously international weekend going on. So we'll talk about, probably you can have your say on Tonali and stuff like that. There's probably more news about that tomorrow. So we'll bring you all that on the show as well. But come and join us. It's had a really good response. You know, other channels are now starting to do what we used to do and get everybody on at once and things like that. But we do it differently now. Come and have your say. Come and have your conversation with the three of us for 5, 6, 7 minutes, whatever it is. And then obviously we bring the next person on. So please do join us at 7 p.m. for that. We're looking for some great people to come on again. If you haven't been on before, you don't have to come on with your camera. If you don't want to put your camera on, you can just use your microphone and join us that way. A lot of people do it like that, and it works very well. 1-0 Spain, Billy. Yes.
By the way, we're 6-1 up now, England against Serbia.
Yeah. Please do join us for that one. And, of course, we will do the England watch-along against Italy. That is going to be a good game, so we will do that one. And apart from that, we will bring you all the latest news as it happens, because there's always news with Newcastle United. But thank you very much for just. Thank you to
Susan's
the
link
members
as well in the chat.
Yes.
For the vote.
The content awards. Yes, please get voting. That'll be in the description after the show as well, but it'll be back in the live description tomorrow night. Please do keep voting. I know if you've already voted 1,000 times, please do it. Just clear your cache, go back and vote. We're against some very, very big hitters, guys. So it is vital that we get our supporters to keep voting. We really, really do appreciate it. Thank you to the Mod Squad again for another great night, and of course to the super chatters and new members of the channel. Thank you to Billy and Alex. But as usual, the main thanks goes to you guys for tuning in and spending an hour with us on this Thursday night. The nights are drawn in now, of course, getting cold. Stay in the house, stay nice and warm with the Toon review most nights. It'll be building up again to, manic stations again after the international break up until the next one in November. But it will be manic with games, watch-alongs, reviews, previews, Face the Lads, all that kind of stuff will be heading your way. So thank you very much for watching, and we will see you again at 7 p.m. tomorrow night. Until then, enjoy the rest of your evening, folks, and we'll see you soon. Good night.
How are the lads and lasses?
Come back and check on some green.